Well, good morning, everybody. We are Robert and Lauren Laird, and we're here in a cloudy Garden Grove, California this morning, but it's very nice out, so we can't complain anything about that. We are so excited for you to be with us for Business Success Training the week after Relive Live in Chicago, and it was a fantastic weekend. We've been going gangbusters down here, and I'm sure other people have as well. So let's see if I get the slides working. There we go. Let's talk about this week's successes. But also, I'd like to hear, for the people that were at Relive Live last week, would you share maybe a takeaway point or what your highlight of the weekend was? So who would like to go first? And Quietly,
I'll go.
Go ahead, Louise.
My printer was making a lot of noise, so I had to keep muted until it's silent. Well, let's see. First, is there one thing from Relive Live? There was something that I was determined to do, and that was to get outside of the community that I normally hang out with and invite myself like I invited myself to hang out with you guys, instead of sitting back and saying, oh, no, I'll just wait till I'm invited. I put myself in situations, and I was really happy that I did. I don't know why I do that to myself. It's ridiculous. But but I think there wasn't one particular thing. It was the overall feeling and excitement of a full room, and that was awesome. I haven't felt that or experienced that for a while, and it was great. It emanated from stage and back into the audience, and from the audience back up to stage. I think everybody was pumped because of the effort everybody made to get people there and to be there. It was very exciting. The new product was very exciting. Had great results myself. I mean, immediately it was ridiculous. But getting over the shock of, oh, CBD, and being educated, it was amazing. I was very impressed with Steve Reed. I felt, quite frankly, when he talked and he said his board of directors were the children of his partner, I felt a channeling of Dr. Carl. I'm sorry. I just went, oh my gosh, there is this divine thread that runs through this continuously. Anyway, that's what about that. I took too long. I'm sorry. And I'm very excited about business, because yesterday I sat in one place and had 2 appointments, and it was just, they just came to me. It was awesome. And Robert, thank you for your part of that.
Anytime. It was a lot of fun.
Louise, you just gave me the chills. Like, that was so special. Thank you so much for sharing your heart.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Anybody else have any takeaways?
Or things that got exciting.
Yeah. Anything new and exciting in the business?
Okay, this is Quila, and I'm going to talk about business side. As many of you know, we did not go to conference, just simply Jim was having some tests, and we're happy to say they're improving on that aspect, so I'm excited about that. But here's the thing. We went out and we were looking at, we're buying a new vehicle, and when we were at the dealership, the guy was talking about, excuse me, he was talking about his pain in his back, and he had been a physical therapist and had to give that up because he had a bad adjustment. Anyway, on and on, and he can't do that. So, you know, I just kind of talked to him and said, well, like, you know, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm doing this. And I said, well, would you be interested in looking at something that might get to the root of that rather than covering it up? And he's like, yeah. So, you know, we exchanged cards, and of course, you know, we built this friendship. And the next thing we know is that next morning he said, look, I went on your website. He goes, I've looked at every video. He goes, I want to know more. He goes, when can we meet? I'm like, okay. So we met with him and his wife, and Brenda and Barb did 3 ways, and they got on the products. And to condense a very long story, they're excited, and it's just fun. So it was fun to be doing that. So anyway, just to share.
That's awesome.
Did you want me to share about the money part too? About what we realized?
I would love it.
Okay, so when you go into your dashboard, there's a little button you can push it, and it'll show you how much money Relive has paid you since you started. So you can go there and click on that. And Jim told me that he did that yesterday, and the reason I'm sharing this is simply to let you know what a $3,500 investment can do. And Jim clicked on that, and it's just under $2 million. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, when you think about how a $3,500 investment of helping other people, I mean, it's not about you, it's about helping other people and people helping. And the only way that you can earn that income is by people consuming the products. And that's minus any returns, that's money that you've earned. I thought, wow. I mean, it averaged over the years to be like 75,000 because we had a couple years that were under 100,000. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that. I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool, Quila. That's awesome.
Congratulations.
Well, and again, it's just to share that that's what's out there, and people that are getting in today can blow by that. So it's pretty fun.
Absolutely.
Hey, Robert.
Oh, go ahead.
I had an offer. I came in early, and so Dr. Galvez was there and had some time with him, and we started talking about functional health and, how the body works and why we have problems. And so that went on well. And then after the conference, we actually connected with a small group and had dinner with Dr. Galvez. And from that, I have on my signature put the power of epigenetic nutrition and CBD to work for your body, and 30-year legacy company. And it just kind of resonated because we have the best of the best. And when they mentioned being a proprietary product, when this does all come together as they are researching, that's very exciting because we already have a proprietary product, and now we have the CBD that is another targeted product that will be more effective. It's like icing on the cake. I love it.
To say the least. Yeah, that's totally true. Thank you for sharing.
You bet.
Nathan, you've got some exciting stuff going on.
I do. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm Nathan. I took a little step back from the business and from the products and things, and just came back and just really excited about the business again. I was at the Starbucks, as I always am, every day, every morning, and just looked at a guy and was like, "Hey, you want to know about a business I do?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Cool. What's your number?" And he gave me his number, and we met with him on Thursday. Robert did a presentation for me, and he was very interested and wants to get started. Simple.
It was simple. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was.
You're keeping us very busy, and that's just fun to follow your excitement.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else got something super exciting going on in their week or from Relive Live last week?
Hey, it's Terry.
Hey, Terry.
Hey. So I don't remember if it was your advice or whoever said it, but I've been carrying my bomb around with me in my bag. And I took it to work with me yesterday, and someone came in and said, "I've got these awful bug bites and they're so itchy." And I went, "Hold on a second." And I went to my bag and I took it out. I said, "Put some of this on it." I said, "You don't need a lot." And she rubbed a little on her bug bites. And later in the day when I checked in with her, she goes, "That stuff works. I'm not itching anymore." And so every time somebody has said something where they've got like a little ailment, like they're tight in their shoulder or they're feeling some discomfort in their wrist or whatever it is, I'm like, "Hold on." And I hand them my balm. I'm like, "Just use a little bit." And people are like, "Oh, I really like the smell of it," the whole deal. And Wednesday night when I went to bowling, one of my someone on the team had said that they were interested in CBD. And I said, "Well, I have some stuff." And so I brought both my full spectrum, my 500 isolate, and my hemp balm so she could try just a little taste, because she was like, I don't like anything that's overpowering and minty. And I was like, you should be fine. She loved the balm and the full spectrum. And online, or she went online last night, she texted me. I was like, hey, I can't find where the balm is at. And I showed her. So she's getting ready to order. I gave my business cards out to 2 other people at work because they really like the hemp balm. And so it helps carrying it around with me. I mean, plus I can use it too, obviously. But the fact that I'm like, hey, try this, and people are like, what is it? I'm like, just try it. And so that seems to be working. And
Isn't that
no, go, yeah, it is pretty awesome. And everybody's asking me, is there THC in it? I'm like, nope, there's no THC in it. And I'm getting amazing results with it too. My knee has been bothering me pretty bad. And so every night when I go to bed, I rub some on my knee, and I wake up in the morning and it feels like I have a new knee. So I'm good.
awesome?
Not even better, a whole new knee. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
You've had 7 new knees this week.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for sharing. Does anybody have one last thing from Relive Live? I don't want to shortchange the conference last weekend.
This is Sheila Carcevar, and out here in Myrtle Beach. Good morning, everybody. And I have, first of all, the balm. When they announced it, everyone went in to get it. And I've always had a tight neck. I have to stretch it, and, it just comes back, so I stretch it during the day, throughout the day, chiropractor massage, all of that. And as soon as I got the balm, I ripped into it, and I was probably 3 minutes in the room just talking to a couple people, and before I left that store, my neck had loosened up. And my friend Rebecca was with me also, and she had a horrible accident 9 years ago. She's an ambassador with Relive, and so she's been kind of out, going through surgeries and different things, and her elbow, her nerve is actually exposed, so it's hypersensitive. So any kind of movement to her elbow, anything that brushes up against it, it just sends like electric through her body, and she's always in pain. She's done all kinds of CBD things, and of course she's been on the products, and so she was able to put some balm on it as well, and within 1 minute she was 70% less hypersensitive. And so needless to say, she's back on track, on fire for the business, because she's out of pain. And then this week I had an appointment with my chiropractor because I said, listen, I just got back from conference. You got to hear about all of this. So basically we set a 15-minute slot. I went into her office. I have told her a little bit about the tinctures, and so she was like, okay, let's get me set up, and I'll order the tincture. By the time we got to the ordering part of online ordering, I had her in the beginning she's having really bad issues with her knee, also from a surgery from years ago. It's called AVN, something necrosis, and the doctors aren't offering her any support or help, and she has to go around on a walker and still doing her chiropractic business. And so when we sat down, she put some on her knee, the balm on her knee, and by the time we got to the order part of like the product order, what she was going to do after we had set her up as a customer, that pain was gone from her knee. And so she just kept saying, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. Do you understand what this is? I'm like, I don't really understand what it is. I just know that it works, and you're proof of it. And so she was walking around her office. She hasn't been able to do that. And so she, of course, ordered the balm along with her tincture, and she's just really excited. So I'm excited because I'm not forgetting about the basic nutrition, but this is another new entry point. So I feel like we have this whole refreshed, other business inside of our business that is just going to explode because, once again, Relive has done it again. We have products that surpass all others. So that's my story of the week.
That's awesome. I think we're done with training.
Right, I know. I was thinking the same thing.
But no, it is. It's ridiculous, and that's the word that keeps popping to my head as I've been watching results happen all week. And then 2, it is another entry point. It's a fantastic entry point that, at least down here in California, has a very it's a very easy door to open, just because people already know quite a bit about this, and it's been in the news and it's been all over the place so much. that there's just kind of an acceptance and awareness, and like, oh yeah, okay, and that's exciting. Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing. That's an incredible story.
Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, well, let's get into this week's training. And one of the things that I came away from conference, I talked with Tom a little bit and a couple other people, is that we have the best system, we have the best products, we have the best people, we have the best corporate team, and we have the best compensation plan. And one of the things that we need to make sure that we do with that is then in return give our best. And quite often I think we do give our best, but maybe we don't give it as effectively as we could. And so I went back and started thinking about different things that have helped me through the years and other people that I look up to through the years. And it always comes back to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which I didn't go to for this training, but it was my starting point. I went to Brian Tracy instead. And I realized that one of the great things that we could be doing right now as we come out of Relive Live and we have all this excitement with the bomb and the RLV line is building successful habits. And so then I went into this rabbit trail of the, let me hit mute real quick. There we go. So then I went into this rabbit trail of researching what successful people do, what do their habits look like, and what do they have in common, and thankfully that information is out there. So Brian Tracy said, your most important tasks and priorities are those that can have the most serious consequences, positive or negative, on all your life or work. Focus on these above all. And it turns out that a lot of those tasks and priorities that the most successful people do are not the ones that you would think they are. They actually come down to some successful habits that they put into place every morning to get their day going. And so I went into this research thing, and here are a few of the names of people that start their days and continue their days with intentional habits and really attribute that as a part of their success. You've got Richard Branson, you've got Bob Iger of the Disney fame. He gets up at, I think it's 6 a.m. every morning, goes running and has a very strict regimen that he's doing. Elon Musk and Warren Buffett. All of these people have been ridiculously successful, and they start their day in a very regimented way, and they continue through it as well. We could also throw a few famous presidents and even Winston Churchill, I was noticing, all had very structured habits that they built to start their day so that the rest of their day could be successful as well. So one of the things they do is before the day even begins, they start it the night before, and they plan the following day the night before. They make a to-do list, and as I was researching this, it turns out by making a to-do list the night before and planning your next day, it can increase your productivity up to 25%. Can you imagine, with all of the excitement and the momentum coming out of Relive Live, if we could all increase our productivity by 25%, literally by saying, hey, I'm going to do this tomorrow. And I see Brenda in the chat. Thank you, Brenda. Says, this is what Jim Shaban said he does, habit of starting his day. It's a fantastic thing to do. I've discovered with my crazy life that if I go through the night before, just as I'm going to bed, my checklist of like, hey, this is what I got to get done tomorrow, whether it's meetings I have to do, articles I need to write, videos I need to produce. If I get them all kind of in my head and arranged, generally they'll get done. If I don't, they generally won't. So then once you have your list, you set priorities for the following days. You want to utilize the 80-20 rule, and that really is the rule that if you have 10 things that you needed to get done tomorrow, let's say, or today, that what are the two most important? And then of those two, what is the most important? Because if you can do that, then it's setting you in a place that you can get a starting point. And obviously you'd want to get the most important thing as that 20% that you're going to do first. And that's going to improve your productivity too, it turns out. So then, day of, complete the most important task first. Stay focused on the task and the small tasks that take to complete the most important task. And that's going to increase productivity as well. And this is really getting into your day. And what generally has happened for those successful people is they've gone through and they've made their list the night before. They get up the following day at the exact same time. They go through the exact same routine of breakfast, working out, coffee, reading papers, whatever it is that they do. That one I saw a lot of variation on. But they all had that routine that led to this of what are my most important tasks, and then basically tackling them first. I think it was at conference a year or so ago. Was it Tom that was talking about eat the frog first? This is just popping into my head. If you remember, put it in the chat, and I'll keep my eyes open. But do that big, important, hard task first, and then you have that win on your belt, and you can keep going. Maybe it's calling that person on your chicken list first. Maybe it's making sure that you have that meeting set first, and you do that meeting first. Whatever it is, do the most important thing first. Another way to say it is keep the main thing the main thing. Don't get distracted by the little things. So here's some other habits that people do on a daily basis that helps. Everybody remembers the nude mosquito. Not being led by the urgent, but by what you have planned. Yes, that's right. Whoever Samsung SMG930A. But yeah, it is. It's having a plan of action so the action doesn't determine your plan. Thank you, Yvette. But it really is choosing to take control of your day as opposed to your day taking control of you. And it's one of the things I've been really working on with my staff, because I have some absolutely phenomenal people on my staff. And the days that they are structured and they've planned it out, we get so much done. And then there's other days I walk into the comm office and I'm just like, there's nothing happening here. And it really is the wind buffeting the boat because they didn't have a plan of attack. So, successful people wake up early. Guess what? You all woke up early to get on a call this morning. That's awesome. You're going to be successful. You are successful. Successful people exercise. Guess what? We've got a Fit 3 program that's helping us all be more fit, more healthy, and exercise better. Great. Successful people create their own healthy routines and habits. This is the part where you get to choose what your routine is going to look like. But you want to build that structure. Structure leads to success. That was one of the big takeaways I noticed from Tom. Did kind of a marathon double workshops in the afternoon on Saturday. And one of the things I heard him repeat multiple times is we need to be building structure and we need to be building community. And then successful people also always move forward. And Quila, if you're still there, could you talk about, it was perfect that you told me what you're going to do locally this morning, because as you were speaking about it, I'm like, that's exactly what we're talking about. Could you, if you're still there, could you unmute yourself and hop on and talk about what you guys are doing up in Portland and why? Hopefully. I'm rolling down. Yeah, you're still there. Maybe she's in the car. Well, if you're there one more time, Quila, then I will give the short version. They are going to be doing basically a Super Saturday kind of a thing once a month up in Portland to build community and to really start getting back into the structure of doing things the way that have been the most successful historically with Relive. And that's actually something that we came out of conference thinking as well, is we need to up our structure level and up our focus level and up our momentum level. And so we're going to start doing that as well. I don't know if you remember, but years ago, we would get on this call, 8 o'clock, and then we'd run home from Starbucks right after this call, and then we'd hold local Saturday morning trainings just like everywhere else in the country was doing. And we're getting back to that down here as well, so that we have the structure of Tuesdays and Saturday mornings, and really with the goal of that being is moving towards being a full foundation city and building that up with Super Saturdays and all elements of the system, because really what we have is too good to not go all the way with this and push it as hard as we can. And that's, I think, going to be a huge game changer here down in Southern California. And I think that's something we can all support each other with wherever we are, and we can build it together. Yvette says, rungs on ladders aren't meant to be stood on, but just a step to the next goal. Absolutely. Do you know what that next step is on the ladder of success? And part of that is knowing where your ladder goes and getting back into the why of why are you doing this? Where do you want to go with this? What excites you? To quote Wendy Stokes, what lights up your Christmas tree? And that's always connected with me. But really it is create those successful habits. I'm keeping it simple and short for this portion today, but create successful habits that are intentional and that you can control so that you can lead your way to success. And then choose what healthy habits you're going to create today. Write them down. I mean, everything is about really quantifying them and saying, hey, I did this, didn't do that. But really make a choice, write them down. And I'd love to hear, shoot me a text. My number is 805-901-6161. But shoot me a text with how that's changed and how that's made you more effective. Because I know when you do this, it will up your effectiveness. It will up your business. It will up your momentum. And really, that's what we're here for this morning, is to be more successful and build on this success system. And with that, I'm going to let Lauren talk.
So how is it that we succeed with Relive? It really does come down to these simple, basic steps that you do over and over and over. And it seems to be the people that come in and try to do something fancy, it either doesn't work or it takes too long. It just focusing on the simple really does create success. So what is that we do? We just talk to new people. Fuel your business with new people, and creating that daily activity, which is what Robert was just talking about, creating those daily habits for that success.
So the key with all of this is taking action now. As you're looking at what we just talked about and what we're going into with the circle of success, everything comes down to not standing around and waiting, but getting going and doing. Walt Disney once said, let's see if I get the quote right, is the way to get things done is to quit talking and start doing. Something like that. The way to get things done is to quit talking and start doing. And that's really what we need to do every day. And that's what the daily fundamentals are all about.
So what do? You identify. Look at the people in your life. Tom Pinnock, over conference, I'm sure he's said it before, but he's very specific in his life, where he goes, where he does business, where he gets his hair cut. Nathan goes to the same Starbucks before work, across the street from his work, every single day. So he's built relationship with the people there, and he has several people that he's talked to and just shared his excitement. He mentioned this guy, Mark, that he literally just looked at him and said, hey, I have a business. Do you want to hear about it? And he said yes. I mean, it's just that simple. Is that, and even, around Disneyland, it's funny. There's some people that I'm buddies with that I kind of look back and I go, I don't actually even know how we became friends or how we started talking, but just, I guess, being my bubbly, normal, friendly, happy self, it's easy to, in those habits, just running into the same people in my routine, build those friendships, and it's just an opportunity to share Relive. So make those the list, whether it's product prospects or business prospects. We always say lead with the business, validate with the products, but sometimes it's just getting people on the product and building their excitement and build their vision as to what is possible now that they have their health back. And write down why you thought of each person. And as you connect with them, and I guess that's a little bit later, I was going to say, write down who you connected them with within Relive. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Keep good records is what she's saying.
That's what I'm saying. Keep good records as to what you've done with whom. So who are the people that you're going to contact today? Just make that list. It's living, it's breathing, and it's really the key to our success in the business.
And the thing I would also add to that is at the bottom, it says, find ways to add to the list every day. There are always ways to add to the list if you choose to do that. And it doesn't say wait for ways for people to add to your list. It's go and find them. And that really is a key to success as well. Second thing is connect. This can be a ton of fun. I actually think this is the most fun part of what we do, is connecting with people. Go through your 20 prospects with your upline, ask who's first, kind of come up with an action plan. If you don't have an upline, do it. Like go speak from the heart, speak from your excitement. Share their why, connect with them with where they're at, not with where you're at. And that's a very important thing to do, because at the end of the day, as we're connecting, it's all about the person in front of us, or the person on the phone, or the person we're texting. And if you can master the skill of connecting with people and making them feel valued and important, this becomes one of the most fun things in Relive. You can use company tools to validate. I mean, that new RLV video is hilarious. Is amazing. I love the reactions we're getting with people. It's a great video, but we have so many other great videos as well, or there's great graphics we can be sending out as well. And our websites also. But the goal with this is to set an appointment. This is just kind of your connection point, so that you can get to a point where you're actually doing the presentation. One thing I think to note is connecting isn't necessarily presenting. And the difference being is connecting is mainly about relationship and planting a seed of hope. And then when we get to the point where we're presenting, that's really where we're sharing the whole picture of Relive. And I think quite often we get a little bit tempted to share the whole picture of Relive during our connection time, when we really don't have enough time, or we don't have enough focus or space or whatever. And so we can build, and then we can be intentional about giving just a little bit at a time, and then people will keep asking for more, as opposed to giving them a whole fire hose of information and then going into that defensive posture of trying to protect their face as the water's flying at them. There's a bunch of opening sentences. You can use any of them. My favorite is just, hey, how's it going? If you get to know people and if you invest in people, quite generally, Relive will come out of your heart and into theirs, and the rest will figure itself out. But really, it's coming down to use those tools, use the stories, more importantly, to validate.
Be genuine, be yourself.
Yep.
Share your heart. Share the Relive story. Your why, your belief, your heart. I mean, goodness gracious, right now, it's just so easy if you really are connected with all that's happening with RLV. I mean, Sheila sharing her story, and Terry and Louise. I mean, there's so many people getting such, instant results. Share that. Share your excitement. Not too much, like Robert said, but just share enough to kind of pique some interest. I've been sharing, I happened to be there when Roger Broberg got his instant results with the RLV balm in the room where we bought the product Friday night at conference, and he put it on his foot, and his pain was gone. And I just literally had my phone and my camera ready, and I said, started videoing him, and I said, hey, Roger, tell me what just happened. So I have the video of his excitement. Kind of same thing happened with my mom at the airport. Her neck and shoulders were hurting from carrying the suitcase around the airport and most of the day. So she rubbed it on her shoulders, and I was able to capture her excitement and these really quick results. So share that. And there's so many things to validate that. The opportunity book, more videos, the app is just, and the website, just endless information and tools for us to use. Relive.com/get started. These webinars, oh my goodness, the field is so excitement. The ambassadors are so excitement. So if you're not connected to the webinars that happen on Monday nights, Tuesday nights?
We do Tuesday nights sharing our Relive story.
That's true too. No, I was talking about those that aren't local to connect with the webinars. So yeah, share that story and share your excitement.
Yes. There's a lot of different ways to do it. I always forget this slide is here. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can share the Relive stories. Really, whatever you get excited about, do it. The excitement will be infectious and it will build up, but keep it simple and just keep moving forward, and this will grow. And, be honest. The system is there so that you don't have to be a PhD in epigenetics or a MBA or all of these things, but still know the system. We need to be experts in our system. And as we do that, we can really change the world. Ask for a decision. This part's really fun. This part is where you are getting ready to go to work with them. So when we met with Mark the other night, was that 2 days ago, I guess, and we got to the end of it. I'm like, what'd you like best? And he sat there and thought about it for a little bit. And that's, I always think, a good thing. I think quite often we have that reflex of needing to fill the quiet space as quickly as possible because quiet is awkward. And I actually have a very different approach. I love quiet. I think one of the things, if we were to look at movies today versus movies 50 years ago, that's missing is the controlled silences. Really good actors know how to use silence to their benefit. Most actors today just push on through it. And so you don't get that moment to think, to wonder, to be apprehensive, to really feel that moment. And this is really what you want to give them the opportunity to do, is to think, to feel, to absorb, to process, to make a decision that's best for them. And then once you've allowed them to think it through and you've allowed them to come up with their answer, I didn't give Mark any direction on what was the right answer. I set up the presentation. I said, I think Master Affiliate's the best place to be because this is why. But once it got to the ask for a decision point, I've done educating. Now it's all about Mark, and Mark is going to share what's best for him. And then we're going to react, and we're going to reply in a way that empowers him to do whatever it is that's best for him. So if that's for business, we're going to get him started in the business. We're going to show him what the website has for him to help him get going into business. If it's the products, we're going to help him get started in the products. Maybe he wants to start in core nutrition. Maybe he wants to try the bomb. We're going to get him started. But you want to be ready and know where to go if they decide to do just products or if they decide to do the business as well. With the business, ask questions and listen. This is really key. I mean, we just kind of hit this pretty hard, but with products, I don't have my glasses on. But ask questions and listen. And it really, this is what it's about with everything. The more questions you ask and the more you listen, the more you're going to be able to serve the person in front of you. And that's just crucial. And that's key for making people feel valued, but also setting them up for success. If we're not being effective listeners, we're not able to help them achieve the goals that they have, because we're going to make assumptions and we're going to think we know what their goals are, as opposed to them. They will tell you. People will tell you just about anything if you listen long enough. Keep it simple, don't overwhelm, and always look at ways that you can save on the products. There's always opportunities for savings that can turn into opportunities for profits.
I love also that this month, brand new customers, preferred or normal customers, get free shipping. So share that. That's saving $10. That's absolutely amazing. So keep an eye on the Engage videos and all the new stuff that gets announced at the beginning of the month, because that was one that was brand new that I went, holy cow, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. So take advantage of that. Yeah,
that's a fantastic. We were telling another guy last night about that. He's like, oh, that's a good deal. I was like, yes, it is. Who do you know that can benefit from the Relive products? That's the question all the time. You know, who do you know? Keep planting that seed of who do you know. That goes same for the business as well.
And, just asking them where they want to get started. Let's get you started right away. I mean, building action now, building on their excitement. If you let it go a couple of days, family gets the opportunity to chime in, or friends, or doubt, or, just in that moment, there's so much excitement of, I can do this, and just not letting that fizzle at all. So, meet up with them again shortly after, once they've decided they want to do this. Help them build their list, help them get ordered, help them, get connected into the system. That is so incredibly important. Help them to see their own potential and select the best option. Whatever it is, just getting going right now. And who do you know? Who do you know? Just like Robert said, who do you know who wants to get started with the Relive business?
And as you're helping them with each of those things, I'd circle back to what we started the morning with, is help them develop healthy Relive habits. One of the things that was done very well with us when we got started is we got started late spring into early summer. And it was, I think, 2 months before conference. And they're just like, everybody that we talked to, they're like, oh, are you going to conference? Because, leaders go to conference. And then they said, do you have your list? Like, everybody was like, do you have your list? Everybody was like, oh, do you have a local meeting? I was like, well, no, I live 100 miles away from anything. Like, oh, well, there's a local meeting in Burbank, and there's another local meeting in Anaheim. I was like, okay. So I drove 100 miles to go to a Tuesday night meeting. And it was because right off the bat, people that we were connecting with were setting me up and setting Lauren up with healthy habits of how to build a Relive business. And that's something that we want to start really being intentional about, because I think quite often we try to show how awesome Relive is, and in the process we're like, oh, well, the easiest way is you can do it online, or you can do a PA book, or whatever it is that your preference is. But at the same time, I think there's something to be said for also presenting the full picture of, like, setting up day one. Hey, go to conference. Setting up day one. Hey, find a meeting that you can go to so you can hear other stories. That's really what those meetings did, is we got to meet and hear other stories. And we got to meet a guy named Robert Pateri who's on Broadway. And I was just like, whoa, this guy's legit. And it opened up our vision for what Relive could do, because I was just looking for $50 a month. I wasn't looking for a big business. And then by going to these meetings and hearing these people, it opened my eyes. It's hearing Quila share how Relive has changed their lives and what they can do. And she's gonna get that all figured out. I see in the chat. But you really want to set them up strong. So like we did locally on Monday night at our training, is one of the things I said is start putting $10 aside every week for conference. We don't know where it's going to be in February, but we know when it's coming. And I would just keep your February kind of flexible in terms of a calendar. Because one of the things Tom said is if we can register really strong for conference in February, that's going to set us up for returning to St. Louis for an international conference in July or whenever that's going to be. And so my head is we need to get back to that strength and back to that intentionality of building healthy Relive habits, along with our healthy habits every day.
Register and go. Make sure you are following up with your consumers. Help with product regimen, how many times a day they should be taking it, half a scoop twice a day or full scoop, whatever it is that is best for them and helping them get results and connecting them with other people with, similar ailments and things to make that, just give them an idea of what's going to help them get results. Continue to educate with stories and look to move them up, move them forward as they're getting results, as they're building excitement. Just make sure they're happy and getting the results that they're looking for. Keeping it simple, and people sometimes follow this. Sometimes they, it can be flexible. But day 1, did you shake today? Day 3, are you consistent? Day 10, what results are you seeing so far? And keeping it consistent throughout of who do you know? And yeah, like it says, remember this is only a guideline. Just use common sense. Be there to support them as a friend, and make sure that they know that you are there to support them.
And doubling on what Lauren was saying is you're connecting them with people and sharing the Relive story and expanding their vision and their hope, really. I think we should make it common practice that as we're sharing our stories on Saturday mornings, we should put our numbers in the chat, because I think it's fantastic that Sheila did that, because those were fantastic stories this morning. And we should get into the habit of making sure that we're coming prepared to share the exciting things that are happening, either products or business-wise, in our business, so that we can help these new people get excited about what's going on in Relive even more, and then connect with, thank you, Nathan, and then connect with these stories that are happening if we're new. Because I think sometimes when we're new, we're like, oh, that's really cool. I wish I knew that Sheila person. I wonder where that came from. And weird. Do you guys all see the red lines on the, But I don't know how that's happening. But anyway, I think sometimes when we're new, we get on these calls and we hear these really great stories from these really great people. And as new people, we don't always know to ask, hey, what's the phone number? Hey, how can I hear this story? How can I share this story? And then we're setting new people up for success even more. And I think we need to constantly be thinking about new people through the whole process. Yes, we're all about new people, but I think sometimes we need to think as new people. And what would they be thinking, feeling, going about? Thank you, Louise. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody that's sharing your number. And, share with each other and have fun doing it. Louise and I had a great time on the phone call yesterday. She has no clue what I said about her, but we had fun doing it. And, and
always a good time with Louise.
That's what makes it fun. She's probably thinking it's a fun time with Robert and she's gonna give me one. But no. So set distributors up to succeed as well. Help them take action immediately. Help them identify, connect, share the story, work through this process that we just went through, and help them know the basics of running the Relive business. Help them know how to set up a Relive website. I was on the phone with Nathan at I don't know, was it 10 o'clock at night or texting with you last week or a week and a half ago, Nathan, setting up your website. And I hear something. But anyway, help them get up with the basics so that they can be focusing on the people and not trying to figure out how do I get somebody ordered? How do I get information on the bomb? Be the person that's their resource center and show them where the Relive Resource Center is so they're never getting caught up and hung up on the details of day-to-day business. Instead, they're able to focus on people instead.
I appreciate the comment. Louise is full of gumption.
Louise is full of gumption.
She sure is.
That's one of my favorite things about her.
So there's 1,000 Relive tools. Maybe not 1,000, maybe 999, but just choose what's easiest for you. They have the videos. There are, the lifestyle magazines, relive.com/get started. So many different groups on Facebook. Sometimes, you guys, I will just screenshot, like there's the group Hemp to Health. Back in the day, there was the one for Lunacin and Lunarich products. I screenshot those people sharing their excitement in those groups, and I text them to people and say, hey, who do you know that could benefit from this? Or, hey, I saw that you mentioned this, or whatever it is. But it's a way to, just approach, somebody new, or just share your excitement and see if it interests them. And I've found that to be very successful for me. But whatever it is, just do it consistently. Just do it consistently.
And the key that she's saying there is keep it with stories. Like Lauren finds the most success from sharing stories, whether it's a screenshot or connecting with whoever that she's connecting with on any given day. Stories are really what are the backbone of our business. The tools augment that, but it really comes back to the stories. Another thing I would just say with all of this is you have all of these tools and you have social media there, is remember that tools and social media will never replace relationships.
Absolutely.
Social media is meant to be social, not to be a billboard. And remember that social media is just a door opener. You can share a little bit on social media, but it's never going to replace the conversation you have with a new person where you can look them in the eyes or hear them on the phone and say, I have a business. Would you like to hear about this? Or, hey, I see your foot's hurting. What if I had something that could help you with this? When people can see and feel and know that you care because of your actions and because of the way you're interacting with them, that is really how you build a Relive business. All of this stuff will help identify you as a person who sees and cares and has compassion, is changing the world, but it'll never replace the relationships that we build in Relive. And then always remember that relive.com gets started, because that's a way that you can take it from the just getting to know and excitement level, and then putting some meat on it and really giving them some action steps that Relive has provided so that they can build their own business as well. Then there's the Relive system. You know, it's system and community is going to build Relive to where it should be. One of, I think, the best moments of conference, and I'm actually surprised nobody said it this morning, is Dr. Galvez, when he was speaking on Saturday afternoon, was asked the question, what is all this new stuff going to do for Relive? And he said it's going to fulfill Bob's dream, the $1 billion company. And
yes,
that's why we need to build this. It's not just for us. Part of it's for giving back the gift to all the people who haven't heard about it, and giving them the hope that Bob once had, 30 some odd years ago. It's paying it forward. And as we pay it forward, we're also really doing a huge pay it backwards to Bob, if that makes any sense. And Bob has done a fantastic job setting us up for where we are today, so that we can go so much further than anybody else before us. And we're going to do that through healthy habits, both in our personal lives, running through them day by day. They're going to set us up for success. And then we're going to go through the Relive system that's going to set us up for success as well. And when you have both of those successes put together, we're going to change the world. So be thinking ahead. We've got Monday night calls. We've got, or podcasts, sorry, the monthly product calls. We've got the support tools. We've got, Tom sends out the Engage video at the beginning of the month, which is fantastic.
Don Van Amberg has a short and sweet call on Thursday nights where she has, 15-minute calls?
It's a high impact, lots of awesome stories, fast call. It's
amazing.
It's great.
Connect to that.
Get as many people as you can on that. It's going to build the business. And then you couple that with the local activities, whether that's in-home meetings, presentations, meetings, upline calls, three-way calls, trainings, webinars, all of those things, being proactive about plugging new people into those, getting them to the special events. If you don't have any special events around, plan one. Make a barbecue and put a presentation around it. You can have a lot of fun doing this business. In fact, the more fun you have doing this business, I think the more it's going to grow. That's a common denominator I was hearing all over the place. Do you have the numbers for Don's call and put it in the chat, please? We'll get that for you in just a second, Brenda. It's Thursday night at 5:30?
I think
We're checking. But then all of that stuff is building to the national, if they're going to call it that, but Relive Live in the fall. Just put it in the chat, and then the international conference that we presume is returning next summer. And if we're proactive about building to that and building a plan for that, so it's 5 to 5:15 on Thursday nights, and the number is 605-475-4800, with the PIN being 434007. So James Bond there, pound. And I just put that in the chat. But really, it's being proactive and intentional, building healthy habits to build a healthy Relive Live and a healthy international conference, because as we do that, it's going to help all boats rise with the tide. And that goal is to have a conference next summer that's twice as large as the conference we just got home from. And so that's just going to take new people and everybody bringing one more person.
And if you'd like to be on the email list for Dawn Van Amberg's call, email her at shortandsweetcall@gmail.com. Once again, shortandsweetcall@gmail.com.
Yep. So then engage your team. Work together. The stronger team you have, the more success you're going to have. So develop a library of stories, whether it's upline, downline, sideline. whatever line that you happen to find. That's the great thing about Relive Live also, is you look at the different people you're interacting with and connecting with, and whether it's Amanda or Jim or Richard, like you get to meet all these really awesome people and you get to hang. That call time is Pacific Standard Time. Yes, Sheila. But you get to connect with people and build that team. Building ambassadors is all about building relationships. And you want to stay engaged to what's going on in Relive. There's the emails, there's calls, webinars, blogs, social media, text. We've hit that pretty well. But set goals. Like we set goals as a local, like in our home, we don't have a kitchen table, but we have a whatever this is, counter that we sit at, and we have goals for the business here. And then it gets bigger, and we have goals for the local organization. And then there's goals for conferences that Tom in the corporate team sets. And then there's goals for the international conference and in the business at large that are global, that are also set. And they all build into each other. And so you want to set those goals, and then you want to stretch those goals. And because that's really the way to growth and to success. I know one of the goals, if Quila's back, that she has is for up in Portland for the group. And she was talking a little bit about that at the beginning before we got started. Are you there, Quila?
I am. I'm back. One of the things when Jim and I first started the business is that no matter what, we had businesses. We had a meeting every week, and we didn't really care if we had 0 people showed up or if we had 10 people showed up, because we were going to do this regardless of what other people were going to do. And so we started that. And of course, we built business over the years. And we are going to start back in Portland once a month. In fact, in a few weeks, and I've got to figure out the date where everyone can come, but we're going to do a barbecue. And we're going to kind of plan what we're going to do. But we are going to start being consistent and get together once a month. I'll talk with Tom and Ryan about it. And that's what we're going to do, find out who here in Portland wants to get going, and we're going to partner with them and move forward. And I'm excited about that. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, ow, my dog is attacking me. Sorry. He's sitting here and I'm not kidding. It's like, oh my gosh. Though I wanted to let everyone know that when I shared earlier this morning, it was a cumulative volume, because I actually, not being prideful, but I thought that seems a little low for us over the years. But what he was talking was about how to get a cumulative volume. If you want to know that, you go to your website, log in, and then my profile, and it shows what your personal group point volume is over the years. And I am going to call Relive and find out how to find your cumulative income, because they were able to give us to that, like we've gone up before, that we've made over, $1 million and all these other things. So I want to find that out, but I apologize for that. But here's the thing. In Portland, we are going to get back, and we'll start trying to have like a quarterly special event and kind of just get things going back again. So I'm very excited about that.
And it's going to be awesome. We always have a blast when we come up to Portland, and that's the way to do it. To build a business, you build relationships, and food is a great way to do that too. So I think the barbecue is a fantastic idea, and I'm excited to see where Portland goes. And we're doing the same thing down here. Like, we are going to keep building that community, building those relationships, and making it that much more fun as we move forward. And this is the time to do it. As Tom said multiple times, it's go time.
Oh, yeah.
Then it comes down to duplication. You want to duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. And you want the actions that you take to be actions that anybody can take. When I go into training, or when I go into meetings or calls or whatever it is that we're doing, one of the things that we're always very aware of is this something that somebody else could do if they were just getting started? And the answer should always be yes. And it really comes down to, if you're always focusing on new people and who's next, the answer always will be yes. You stick with the system that they've put in place, and that will be the way that you can really build this business and move forward. We've got the right people, we've got the right products, we've got the right compensation plan, and we've got the right company. Now's the time to take this company to where it belongs, take our businesses to where they belong, and let's all see each other in wherever it is in February with more people than's ever been at the winter conference before. What do you think?
Woo!
All right, let's go do it. Let's make it a great week, everybody. And we'll look forward to talking to you all soon.